The sky was bruised lavender as evening fell over Milan. The air smelled like cold stone and blooming jasmine. Vivi stepped out of the cab, oversized sunglasses low on her nose, scarf wrapped tightly around her head. She glanced behind her once, just to be sure no one followed her. She knew she shouldn't be here. Dorian's warning was still echoing in her head like a siren. You can't trust him. But something stronger pulled her forward. That ache of unfinished truth, of fragile hope, of not knowing if what they had was ever real. She buzzed the apartment. A pause. Then a click. Adrian's door opened before she even knocks. He looked like he hadn't slept. Bruised still. Shirt rumpled. The moment he saw her, his expression faltered, caught between guilt and longing. "Vivi, what are you doing here?" Vivi hesitated, then walked past him into the flat. The door shut behind her like a whisper of fate. "You lied to me," she said, voice trembling. "But I still came. What does that say about me?" Adrian ran a hand through his hair, exhaled. "It says you're kind. Too kind for this world." "Don't," she snapped. "Don't flatter me just to soften the truth. I don't want soft anymore. I want answers." She pulled off her sunglasses. Her eyes were tired. Raw. Honest. "Was anything between us ever real, Adrian?" He turned away. Silence stretched. He leaned on the windowsill, the setting sun casting gold over his shoulders. His voice came quiet. "You were the only real part, Vivi." She swallowed hard. "Then why?" He turned to face her now, his eyes dark with history. "Because I spent a decade trying to survive after my life was burned to the ground. And the man who lit the match was your uncle." "Uncle Dorian?" "He took down my father. I know he had reasons. But I was still young, and my world collapsed. I let hate write the next chapters of my life. I let him in, the man you met at the gala." "Vescari." Vivi stared at him, heart pounding. "And now?" Adrian stepped closer. Too close. "Now I'm standing in front of the only person who makes me question everything." Her lips parted, but no words come out. He continued. "I don't know if I'm the villain or just the fool caught in someone else's war. But I swear, I never wanted to hurt you." She fought the tears, but one slipped free. "Still," she said. "Then help me. Help us. Leave them. Whatever this game is, you don't belong to it anymore." He looked down. "I don't know if I can." The moment hanged, intimate, broken, impossible. Vivi took a step back. Hurt etched in every breath. "Then maybe I was the fool too." She turned and walked out, leaving Adrian frozen, between the man he was and the man he wanted to be. The door shut with a quiet finality. Adrian stood there, the last trace of Vivi's perfume hanging in the air. His fingers twitched like they're still reaching for her. He didn't move. He couldn't. Not until his phone vibrated on the table. Blocked number. He already knew who it was. He answered slowly. "She came to you." The voice on the other end was rich, amused, unmistakably Vescari. Adrian didn't respond. "You didn't stop her. You let her in." "I didn't tell her anything," Adrian said, jaw clenched. "But you felt something. You always do. And feelings, caro ragazzo, make people sloppy." A pause. "She begged you to help her, didn't she?" "Leave her out of this," Adrian snapped. "You know I can't. Not now. She's part of the board now. She's a public figure. Ripe for shaping, for showing the world how messy your fashion angel really is." Adrian closed his eyes. The threads were tightening. "You said I could run this operation. And you are. But a good soldier must know when to cut attachments loose." The call ended. Adrian gripped the edge of the table until his knuckles whitened. Suddenly a ping. A photo. Vivi at the door, looking back at him. Taken from across the street. Then another photo. June, leaving the hotel. Dorian, walking with Clara Jensen. They're all being watched. Adrian swore under his breath. He thought he could control this, that he could walk both lines. Now he knew there was no line. Not anymore. Only sides. And he was dangerously close to losing both. The air between them was thick, electric, two storms colliding in the silence of an abandoned courtyard behind the hotel. Dorian stood still, arms crossed, his eyes fixed on the younger man like he was trying to read past years of rage written on his face. Adrian stood across from him, visibly tense but not hiding anymore. His hands are clenched, his jaw tight. Dorian broke the silence. "You let her come to you. After everything I warned." Adrian said flatly, "I didn't ask her to." Dorian stared, then leaned forward. "Let's stop pretending. You've been playing both sides since the beginning." Adrian didn't deny it. His voice was quieter now. "I was going to ruin you. For what you did to my father." Dorian didn't flinch. "And what exactly did I do, Adrian?" Adrian stepped forward, jaw tight. "You didn't just arrest a man. You destroyed a boy's entire world in Prague 10 years ago." Dorian pulled it from memory before he got the translation of the article that June showed him. And that was the article about the Prague case. A decade ago. One of the cases that had haunted him for years, but was quickly buried under a pile of red tape and diplomatic pressure. A respectable finance magnate arrested under a sweeping European fraud investigation. The charges were heavy: bribery, embezzlement, laundering through shell charities. Dorian had helped lead the international task force that handed over the final arrest warrant. Jean-Michel Dallaire. A cold wave swept over him. Here was Adrian Sebastian Dallaire. It wasn't coincidence. It was him. The son. Back then, Dorian remembered how odd the case felt. How clean it seemed, too clean. How the evidence had come in like a flood, already packaged and ready. How the key witnesses disappeared afterward. How no one seemed eager to dig further. The higher-ups wanted it closed. Fast. And Dorian, young and eager to prove himself, had gone along with it. Now it hit him like a knife. Adrian's father hadn't been tried. He had been silenced. He muttered under his breath, "Damn it, we let it happen." The pieces fell into place like cold steel clicks. Leon Vescari, the same man who had ties to banking, fashion, politics, dark corners of every major European city. Vescari had cleaned house. Adrian's father was just another pawn removed from the board. Dorian stood up, running a hand down his face, the weight of it settling in his gut. He thought of Adrian's face, twisted with hatred and grief. He thought of Vivi, caught in the crosshairs of history repeating itself. Then he thought, as if swearing a vow to the empty room, "This time, I won't get it wrong." Looking at Adrian's eyes, "My job is to crack down organized crimes who committed fraud, embezzlement, and lied to the government of 2 countries, Dorian said flatly. But if he was once respectable, if he was set up, then he wasn't the only victim. Maybe you were too. Adrian blinked. Just once. Like that single sentence cracked a wall he'd built over a decade. You think I'm going to believe that now? Dorian suddenly remembered the silver triangle at the Prague case, and his voice lowered, serious but not unkind. If there's anyone with enough power to bring down a man like your father and cover it up, it's Leon Vescari. That name hung in the air like poison. Dorian stepped closer. And you're dancing in his web now. Do you honestly believe Vescari sees you as anything more than a pawn? Do you think he cares about you the way I care about Vivi? Adrian's fists clenched at that name. I know you care about her, Dorian said, softer now. So forget me. Forget your father. Right now, there's a girl in danger who's worth saving. My goddaughter. The girl you care about. Silence. And then Dorian added, eyes steady. If it helps, go ahead. Hit me. Adrian didn't hesitate. His fist slammed into Dorian's jaw, raw and fueled by every lie he'd ever believed. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't clean. It was desperate, like a child trying to make the world make sense with his bare hands. Dorian stumbled but didn't fall. He straightened slowly, wiping the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand. Adrian stood there, breathing like he'd run miles, his chest heaving, like something inside him had finally broken loose. His voice cracked. "I don't know what's true anymore." And just like that, the fury fell away. Adrian collapsed onto the bench behind him, burying his face in his hands, overwhelmed. "Good," Dorian muttered, rubbing his jaw. "Confusion means you're starting to think. Some people are born with darkness in their blood. Others are taught it. Adrian Dallaire was neither. His past was painted with betrayal and loss, yes. His father's fall from grace, the cold silence of exile, the humiliating whispers that trailed him like smoke. All that pain could have turned him cruel. It almost did. But life told us something powerful. Not all wounded hearts grow into monsters. Even those raised in environments of survival, resentment, and mistrust, if given the right emotional bond, could be rewired. Love, when real, didn't just soothe. It reconstructed. It repatterned. And slowly, Vivi had done just that. She had no idea she was doing it. The way she looked at him like he wasn't broken. The way she never pitted him. The way her own broken pieces fit so seamlessly against his. Adrian hadn't planned on feeling anything. But people say that human attachment can override even deeply entrenched trauma responses. That even the most guarded minds can soften under the weight of genuine care. And now here he was, caught in the impossible crossroads between vengeance and redemption.